So you want to know how hail damage is repaired with Paintless Dent Repair? Well, keep watching because I'm going to show you how. Hey, Steven here from Excel Dent Removal. Today we're going to show you the professional way that we take hail damage dents out from a car. Now that's not to say that there's not some DIY methods that will work for you. Most probably won't, but everybody's heard of using dry ice to take dents out, or heating it up with the hairdryer and using some compressed cold air, and that's going to pop the dents out for you. Other people have said maybe you can just pop them out with a plunger or suction cup. I've even heard people say, hey, just leave it out in the hot sun, the sun's gonna bake it and those dents will pop right out. You know, I haven't really seen some of those work. And the other problem is you may run into issues with damaging the paint with some of those methods. And the paint nowadays is pretty good and durable when we use the Paintless Dent Repair method, but if you start doing some strange heat and cold methods, you might run into some problems. All right, here we've got this dent on the hood of this vehicle. You can see where we circled the area around it, and then we've got a typical US quarter sitting right in the middle. And if you look at it, this would be something that somebody might look at it without our lights and say, hey, this is maybe a nickel-sized dent or a quarter-sized dent. But if you actually look at the dent, you can see that the metal is stretched out around that quarter. So we would actually call this typically like a $half-dollar size dent, or even an oversized dent, bigger than a $half-dollar. Once we put a $half-dollar in there, that probably would maybe cover that up, but you can see the extent of how far out that metal gets stretched. So first off, you can see underneath the metal there, this bigger dent here is out in the open. So we've got a special PDR tool, we've got special tips on there, and we get inside and we lightly just push up the metal. And with a dent like this out in the open, this isn't a problem. We basically just need a little leverage point that we use, and we look directly right into our lights. You know, this is something maybe you could try on your own, but if you don't have any experience with it, the hand-eye coordination that's needed, because we use our lights from the top to know exactly where we're pushing underneath. And we make these several small, little tiny pushes, pushing up every little low spot underneath. And I've had people come to me and they'll go, well, I tried it myself. And what happens is if you get in there and you push on this and you think you're just gonna pop it out, you'll actually bust the paint by pushing too hard, or make little marks in the paint or in the metal from pushing too much. And what we are doing is just gently, lightly pushing, and this keeps the paint flexible, makes the metal flexible, and this is what we do until we get it nice and smooth. And as you watch this, it may not look like much is happening. Sometimes, you know, it's such a slow process, moving just a little bit at a time. And even it might look like when we move it up, it just flexes right back down, but every little tiny push is making just a little bit of a difference. All right, so now we've moved over to this smaller little dent. This is probably more like a dime or nickel-sized dent. And when you have the other dent that we had and it's out in the open here, and that was all good and all, and we could push on it with those tools. But how do we get to a dent here that's right on the edge of this brace or underneath the bracing? And typically, most hail damage, if it hits in an open area, it's gonna probably bounce because there's some flex to the metal there. But there's less flex in this braced area, so the metal is gonna, when the hail comes, it's gonna hit and it's more likely to leave a dent in that space. So when we get into the vehicle, majority of the dents with hail are typically under these braced areas. So we have to get in here with these other tools that we have. And these tools are special for getting in behind the bracing or through small holes here in the bracing, anything that we need to get behind there. So we've got a variety of different tools for that. So with this one, you'll see this one is right on the edge of the panel here. So we use this little tool to do the same thing. Just lightly make little pushes here. And even though that dent looks almost gone, just fine tune just a couple of little spots. All right, so we'll kind of show it to you here, how We were able to get in there and get those dents out from underneath, pushing them out with our tools. Looks really good. We were able to complete this whole hood. Probably had about 50 dents in it. So now you don't see any of the little hail dents left in the vehicle. Well, there you go. There's your demonstration on how to fix hail damage repair. If you've tried the DIY method, if you've tried to fix dents yourself and it just didn't work out for you, or your vehicle's got hail damage and you just want the professionals to fix it for you, well, give me a call here at Excel Dent Removal. We're over in Blaine, Minnesota. My phone number is 763-780-4000, or just visit me on my website at exceldentremoval.com.